taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
He expelled fear for African Americans. He says, I will speak out loud what we've been thinking. And he said, you'll see, people will hear it, and they will not do anything to us necessarily, okay? But I will now speak it for the masses of people. When he said it in a very strong fashion, in this very manly fashion, in this fashion that says, I am not afraid to say what you've been thinking all these years, that's why we loved him. He said it out loud, not behind closed doors. He took on America.
As you know, we come to you live every week, and there's usually a problem with something. But, you know, we're here, and I've brought back by popular demand Dr. Philip Valentine, my man. Welcome back, my brother. People just cry out and say, what does this guy do? When can I find a lecture? When's the next time you're speaking in public?
Well, might as well date myself. April 5th.
April 5th.
2003.
All right.
At a place called the Brown Chocolate Cafe.
Brown Chocolate Cafe?
Yeah,
it's
in Brooklyn.
In
yeah.
Brooklyn. Okay.
It's on Fulton Street between Franklin and Classen Avenue.
Okay.
But it's actually in one of the mid-streets, which is on the corner, actually, of Claver Place and Fulton Street in Brooklyn. So that's Saturday the 5th. It begins at 4 o'clock. If they want any information, they could call area code 347.
347.
51.
Can we write this down? 347.
Yeah, 512.
512.
4952.
We'll get that down and make sure that.
Just ask for Brother Shabazz.
And tell us about your the Healing Temple.
Well, the Healing Temple is actually a mission. We're searching for an actual location that would be conducive for us to build. We want to incorporate many disciplines. We have many people who are proficient in doing a wide range, a whole spectrum of different approaches to healing. Our philosophy is based on what is today called the hygienic system. The hygienic system uses no poison. We believe that no poison can heal. We do not believe in poisoning someone back to health. So we don't prescribe, or for want of a better word, advise the use of herbs, whether they are from the bush itself or in capsules. We don't recommend vitamins. And we're very circumspect about recommendations along homeopathic and eclectic and or any of the other disciplines. We We know that the body is the healing instrument, and we know that any crisis or any symptoms that show itself on the surface is actually the end result or the end product of a series of processes that the body had already initiated a while before. So any interference would be to stop that. Now, that is not to say that we don't do anything. We do allow for the working of the body. We monitor the body so that one organ or one system does not overload, or one system is not bear the brunt of the total healing process. So we manage to help to balance by way of using the fire, air, water, and earth, or the elementals, and knowing how these properties work, their personalities, how they express themselves during the healing crisis. And then we help to modify it by using those elementals by way of certain products, by using heat, by using cold, by using warmth, stimulation versus vital stimulation versus non-vital stimulation. So it's a process that probably, and I not say probably, that I know for a fact, all healing modalities, as we move into the higher realms of consciousness and the planet begins to ascend, hopefully, if they don't just take it out, when we begin to ascend, the healing modalities will all come together and eventually begin to incorporate themselves into the hygienic system, because it is the only true system that deals with healing, natural healing.
Wow. Now, now you said you don't recommend vitamins?
No, we don't recommend vitamins or herbs.
I thought that was a major part of was it
homeopathic?
Homeopathic.
Yeah, there's herbology.
Herbology.
They are now lumped under this terminology of the New Age called alternative medicine.
Right.
Well, we believe that the only alternative medicine is essentially what medical doctors do. The natural healing processes are already part of the healing that the body already knows. We know that healing is done through intelligence, divine intelligence, cosmic intelligence, what you might call God. We know that it is nothing that is essentially controllable by man. Once the human body goes through any kind of, or succumbs to its abuses, to the abuses of the person who is in that body, we know that the body is self-maintaining. And the true healer, or the true person who assists in healing, because nobody in the physical form is a healer, we just facilitate the process that is already factored into the living organism. We know that anything that shows itself on the surface is an evidence of what the body has already started. So intelligence is the only healing modality that we learn. We learn how intelligence expresses itself through the different symptoms by way of the intelligence of the cells. The cells are the healing agents that are implemented or employed by divine intelligence.
Now the divine intelligence is the power of the will.
Well,
the individual?
No.
Divine intelligence means God.
Well, what we want to call it God, but we call it intelligence. We call it the omnipotent, the omniscient intelligence, that which we partake in, and we become more and more conscious of as we leave or migrate from body to body. Consciousness is, and we see it in the form of health, and we see it in the form of disease. The human body is studied by medical science, and it is studied only when it is diseased. So the science of disease is medical science. The science of health is natural healing, hygienic science. So we study health. We don't study diseases like they do.
Right. So there's no medicine involved here?
No, there is only, essentially what I find myself having to do is to help people to delete all of the programs about what is as they've heaped them on in their lives, to help them to delete what they've become comfortable with.
I mean, their belief systems.
The hygienic system is definitely an investigation and an insight or an understanding
To
of
the
your
psychic.
own. No. Of your own system of value that
Okay.
you have accumulated and you have developed over your lifetime.
Can I call this psychic healing?
No,
No?
no, this is science.
Well, the science of psychic healing, the power of the will to, or the universal mind, which is God, or the all, as we mentioned in the Kybalion,
Okay.
all right? Isn't that, that's the control anyway, and we're a small part of the all.
Yeah, we are the all in all.
All right, if we go into ourselves and get in touch with the all, or God,
Okay.
then we can actually receive all the
Yeah, but you
mental,
can't. But you can't tell that
psychic
to somebody.
healing.
But you can't tell that to somebody who's suffering and in fear. See, the first thing we have to teach
or
them.
fear is what destroys
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So we have to teach them that all of the orchestrated fear that you have been conditioned to believe about your body,
Right.
because as soon as the body begins to feel discomfort,
Right.
pain, and it begins to suffer, fear and our defense mechanisms go up.
Right.
So we seek help outside of ourselves, not realizing that the body does nothing to destroy itself.
It's only your mind thinking negative that destroys you.
Well, yeah, that
Okay.
assists in the actual process, but the mind is conditioned to respond to its experiences.
Right.
Right. So
right.
if it only experiences, oh, you got to go to the doctor, oh, you'll die from AIDS, and all of those fables and myths that have been pushed upon the sheeple, as they call them, or we the cattle, we have a conditioned response to disease, and that is to fear. And who is there to allay our fear? Just like the priest, when the devil or something evil comes upon us, we go to our minister, who is the doctor, like you say, of the soul,
Okay.
and we go to the so-called medical scientist, who's the doctor of our body. But all of it is the same, and we've separated the two.
I'm scared to death of the hospitals.
Yeah, that's a healthy fear.
I mean, you can't give me.
That's a healthy fear.
I've seen what they can do. Somebody go in healthy and come out,
Yeah.
or don't come out.
Yeah, isn't the hospital a place where all the diseases are?
Really?
So why would you go in there? You know?
But you talk to the public like that, and they think something's wrong with you.
No, I've talked to the public like that for 28 years, and in the beginning they thought something
They think
was wrong with me.
something's wrong.
But now they understand, because essentially,
It's coming
you
that-
know, yeah,
coming
by the
that
grace of divine intelligence, I have helped people to awaken to what they already know within themselves, but are unaware that they know.
Well, I've always believed in psychic healing.
Okay.
Always. I mean, I just always thought that, you know, we know worry and sweat and stress will give you ulcers. I mean, you worry enough, you can stress yourself out. I think stress more or less brings on all the diseases, even cancer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, cancer is nothing but you're stressed out.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I want you to understand that the discipline called hygienic healing is not psychic healing,
Okay.
as being as it is now codified and now relegated to a definition.
Okay.
Hygienic health is us waiting to study the response of intelligence to specific behavioral patterns adopted by the woman or man, and then through that we begin to investigate how we may be able to, first and foremost, read what those thoughts were that preceded the behavior that became the habit, and read how that habit has affected a specific organ, and then work our way backward to the initial thought process or behaviorism that was developed and conditioned and molded to become this external response to that signature that was created by the thought process.
How do we help people that are addicted to the various drugs that are out there?
Well, addiction is the sign of a surrendering of one's own how do you say it, self-esteem.
Self-esteem, right, right, exactly.
The person who is addicted
That's right.
is not, is feeling that,
doesn't like themselves too
well, yeah, whatever it is that we need as men and women, we still have what they say was in us, the child. And that child constantly needs reinforcement. If in the beginning it was conditioned not to go to that person, to be there with somebody, to have someone to catch them at that point when they're at their emotional low, they begin to use artificial means to resurrect what is supposed to be emotionally imparted by the parent figure.
All right, all of that is, I mean, you could apply that to the more sophisticated drugs, such as cocaine, marijuana, and all the rest of them, you know, acid and so forth. But the legal drug, booze, is really the worst out of all of them. Because that was, you know, when I was coming up, you had to sit at a bar and be able to drink with your buddies and hang out and show how manly you were. Matter of fact, I was with a company, a southern company, for almost 8 years. And they tested my manhood by how well I could drink, by how, you know, how often I could build. I used to go out for lunch with an American Express card and buy a round for everybody that was with me. I was a salesman. But that was a good old boy network. Even my sales manager was an alcoholic.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is the 70s,
no
right?
No doubt, no doubt.
A fun time. When everybody, on St. Patty's Day, if you didn't get drunk on St. Patty's, in New York in particular, something, you know, you weren't in the spirit. I mean, you used to see drunks walking down the street in New York all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, but then booze was a proof of your manhood. Take example as my father. When I came home from the Marine Corps, he stuck a fifth of scotch in front of me and said, let's see what kind of man he made out of you.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do with that?
Well, you have to deal with the habits that have were brought on by the conditioning process.
Well, this is a condition to prove you're a man.
Yeah, well, I mean, then whoever did that essentially wanted to see your stamina and your ability to imbibe poison.
Did that. Everybody did.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you, does that make it right?
Didn't you go through that? Come on.
I went through a process based upon me having to condition myself to be accepted. Again, it's self-esteem.
I mean, you never hung out at the bars?
I never went to bars. I hated
You never
alcohol.
went to bars?
I'll give you a reason why. When I was sipping on my father's booze, he caught me.
Okay.
When I was young. And he said, okay, we're going to test your manhood, and I was 13 years of age.
Oh, okay, so you
And
understand
he filled it up. He filled it up to the top and said, all right. He said, this much was missing. And he said, no, okay, that means you must have drank that much, but I didn't. It was me and my friends. But I had to drink what my friend and I've been drinking. So by the time I woke up 2 days later, I was completely cured of taking alcohol.
Okay.
And that goes for cigarettes, too, because when I knew my lungs wouldn't take that cigarette, I wouldn't be bothered with it.
You were lucky. You were lucky.
Yeah, I was lucky. And I passed that on to my son.
You were very lucky.
Yeah, but you see, again, it all is all based on the pressure to succeed, the pressure to be liked, the pressure to be needed.
Oh, yeah.
And this has to do with the self-esteem. This society attacks your self-esteem. You have to be constantly a celebrity. It is a celebrity society. It's a cult of personality. So essentially you have these figureheads that have lifestyles that give an impression of control. When you are not sharing that particular lifestyle, or you are not sharing in the accolades that's supposed to go with the lifestyle, you do not feel in control of your life, you see. So when you don't have your self-esteem, which is built upon the fact that you are supposedly perceiving in control of everything and everybody around you in your life, not understanding that this is an illusion that we're following, then there comes a time when you begin to take certain crutches where you can escape that feeling, where the stimulus that comes from you hearing the accolades in your ear, speaking about how wonderful you are back to another person, looking and invoking those adulations, all of that now doesn't work. So what you do is you go to another world. You leave it and become anesthetized. And that's what your alcohol was, to anesthetize you when you could not get that dose of accolade, that dose of self-esteem that comes from the words of another person about how well you have done. So you anesthetize yourself, and in that under that anesthetist, everything is fine.
But everybody else was doing the same thing.
That doesn't mean it's right.
No, I realize that.
So I'm saying, yeah, so what do? Do you now...
How society was run like that. I mean, that's the way it was.
Yeah, and that's why the society is so crazy today. It's heading into the toilet. As a matter of fact, it's already in the toilet and it's been flushed. And all we're doing is just going around in circle before the final suck down into the tubes. This society is actually the society that has been under attack. And this so-called war in Iraq, Iraq is not the target of this particular excursion into World War III. The target is the United States of America. The target for destruction is the United States of America. You don't have a government. This government is a cabal. It is a cabal, yes. It's a cabal of elitists who have no allegiance. A grouping, a very secret group.
Anything to do with the Kybalion?
Well, Kabbalah, Kybalion.
Is that a leader?
Yeah, it's a very elite group who have no allegiance to the people here.
Okay.
The whole target of this whole excursion into World War III is for the destruction, slow and sure, of what is called the United States of America. Okay. You have to understand that no man in his right mind would want to insult or to place, as far as diplomatically, to incur the ire of over 1.3 billion Muslims around the world. You don't do that. Right. You don't insult them. You don't do that. What they're doing is this demise is targeted at the United States of America, because once they have vilified the United States of America and anyone associated with that, and we have become the pirate of the planet, the bully that everyone wants to see destroyed. When China and Russia and all the jihads and everything starts raining down bombs on us, everyone will be cheering. And the problem is we don't see that our government is not our government, and that this government is leading us into hell. This is the last lap, and if we don't get in control,
don't you think people see the difference in the difference between the American government and the American people?
Nope, because essentially, because if America can bomb and kill Iraqi children, women, and innocent men, elders, all of them, and say we're going after Saddam Hussein, they can bomb the hell out of us and say they're going after Bush.
But
no. Similar with that. Marinate with that for a minute. It is not about them separating anybody, because the mind of the Americans, the middle American, the white Anglo-Saxon middle American person who is one who put Bush in office, he does not care that he kills children and men and women. He says it's for the greater good, it's for their good, to free them. That same mentality that we use, the same mentality that paraded these people in Guantanamo with hoods over their head, dragging them across the ground, putting up, listen to me, doing everything, is the same one screaming about when our prisoners of war were taken over, those poor kids were taken over there, was the same one crying about the Geneva Convention. These duplicitous acts, this double standard is not accidental. It is set down so that they can vilify the United States, and it will be very easy after that for them to destroy us. And that is the plan. You cannot look at what's happening and not see the consequences in the long run. We are being made to be vilified so that the United States of America is destroyed. They got you. They busted you on camera. Doing the directorial.
Well, you can see what happens to me.
It's live. It's live.
It's live.
Y'all know it out there, right?
About what's happening here.
Yeah,
like I see a camera out of focus when I got to say something. Camera 2 is out of focus. I got to say that.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
They understand.
I hope you're getting a good view out here.
Yeah,
right?
they'll understand.
Well, what we were talking about is the madness that's going on in Iraq right now. And I stand to believe that the powers that be over there are not going to do any sort of terrorist act right now when they see they have the sympathy of the American people on their side.
No, I disagree, and I'll tell you why.
You see no gas bombs have been on.
No, but I see one coming, and I'll tell you why. Anyone who can do, you ever play chess?
Sure.
Okay, how do you play chess? What is the strategy of the chess player?
To capture the queen.
Right, to capture the king.
I mean,
All right.
the king.
Right. Now, what is the stratagem that must be employed for that to happen? How must the person who is playing think?
Aggressive.
No.
Calculating. Think 5 moves in front.
Hold on to that thought. Now, did not 9/11 give King George everything he wanted?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, hold that
And
thought.
that was planned.
Right. Now,
That's a good point.
Now, hold on. Now you are prosecuting a war that is unpopular by at least half the planet. Now is out constantly. This is the only war that ever enlisted 30 million people before the war started. Okay, to stop this war,
Right.
and you went ahead anyway.
Right.
Now, as they prosecute this war more and more, America will become more and more unpopular. Okay, when the economy crashes, as this is what is to divert our attention from. When the economy crashes and everything is now tumbling down, and there is no alert, remember they put all these laws into place, taking away your ability, taking away everything. Oh, I love our, what do you call it? Taking away all of our rights, taking away everything that we hold dear, saying that we are protecting our American spirit and everything that has to do with America, yet still taking it away. How more Orwellian can you be? How more Orwellian can anybody be when they tell you, in order for you to be free, we have to make you a slave?
Okay.
So now all of your rights are being systematically taken away. They have cameras all over the place now. We have become Russia. Russia was the practice. Russia was the dress rehearsal for the destruction and for the turning of America into what Russia was.
Right.
Okay? Now, when you see this happening, and the United States citizen begin to say, well, where is this alert? How is it that the Homeland Security is supposed to have now come down on us, and nothing has come down to threaten us? Now the government, which is not your government, which is a cabal of elitists, and world-dominant, mind-projected Illuminatus. Right. When they begin to say, well, the American people don't believe we were really under any stress, we have to stage another event. When this event is staged, who is going to refuse the government that is in place? Who is going to come up and say anything when you've destroyed a whole city, probably by nuclear? Or did you just hear on the news that an Israeli woman was caught at LaGuardia Airport with a canister that tested positive for anthrax? A canister that was 9 inches long, heading for Texas. They grabbed the canister. Someone told that it was talcum powder. She gets to walk. But all the people who handle the canister have rashes all over their bodies now. But she's now gone straight to Texas and probably won't see her again. Is she a Mossad agent that was supposed to stage a specific event here in America to make us believe? Was that something that was intercepted, or somebody made a mistake based upon, or they were caught in a scheduled event that was supposed to happen to us? We don't know. People have to start thinking about what's happening around them and see that there is something going on in this country that is not correct. And we have people following along like the drones that they've become, believing that everything we're doing is right because America is going out to defend the liberty of other people. I mean, did we get attacked by Iraq when they were beating the hell out of Rodney King in the street? When they're shooting most of our young brothers and sisters, when they choked to death Anthony Baez, when they pumped 41 shots into Amadou Diallo, let me ask you a question. Was anybody invading us to come over here to save us? To tell us that we had to come over here to save black people that for 300 years been under a yoke of racism and white supremacy. Did anybody invade us and say that how we're doing it to save the dark folks over here? No. So what is this nonsense that we are following and giving our children over to this beast to go over there to fight to bring down the value of oil and give them control and hegemony over the planet? This is nonsense. Everybody's playing the game. Everybody is walking along and allowing this to happen. And your news media is nothing but cheerleaders. Most of these Dan Rathers and these other bastards, they should have put on a little skirt with pom-poms, and all they need to do is just keep singing USA, USA. Nobody's hearing what's really going on over there.
Well, except for right here in Manhattan neighborhood.
Well, Manhattan Cable, and you might want to go down and check WBAI to hear what's really going on, or your net, because the rest of it is nothing but entertainment. The clowns, it's a circus.
Right. Right. That's exactly why I asked you to come by today. You know, because I know you tell it like it is. And
well,
you give people a different perspective on what you get from the normal channels out there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, thank God for Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Oh, yeah.
And,
but you know what? Y'all better look to this, and y'all better look to this very seriously. This type of forum is right now tenuously threatened by the Homeland Security Act, because computers all over the country are being shut down. Websites that have any kind of counter information are finding troubles. They're shooting all kinds of viruses into them. And they will approach stations like this. And you will be next targeted. You will see it begin to happen. They'll probably go after WBAI as well.
Well, now you heard it here. So I want you to call and write in and save my show here.
Save the station.
Save the station. Save Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Because it's coming. The last time they did this kind of overall, just across the board eradication of rights was in Nazi Germany, and thereafter in Russia. And it's happening here. And now they talked about the 23, or what was it again, the 200 pages addendum to the Patriot Act?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Whatever it is they thought they couldn't take away from you, they took away from you now. And these Gestapo-looking people that's standing on your streets with weapons, check these people that are masked with the black on, with no insignias, that are standing there pretending to be taking care of you. Most of your militia who would defend your country, most of your soldiers are overseas fighting, and more will be going over there. Who are these people? I ask people to go up to these people who are masked in these black uniforms and speak to them. And when they talk to them, they don't even talk back to them, because sometimes they don't understand English. They may not even be Americans. And we're not even thinking about that one.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's right.
Wait.
Because when somebody told me when they went up to speak to those two soldiers that would be sitting on the side there, one of them just looked away like they didn't even know what they were talking about, and the other one went into his microphone on 42nd Street.
On 42nd?
That's right. Went into his microphone, and he didn't sound like he was speaking English. Now, see, America has been lulled to sleep because we're so busy in this gas guzzling. We want to get our big navigators. We're sucking all the gas. We use more gas than the entire planet, just one little North American continent. White folks have become lazy. They believe that they have this. They still have manifest destiny. They still got that mentality that we own the planet and whatever we say is going to go. But you know what? This whole thing is a trap. This whole move into Iraq is a pincer movement. It's a pincer movement to draw us in, to destroy our credibility. We have exhausted any kind of sympathy that we would have gotten in 9/11, and all of our moral interests, anything that we have based on our morality is down the toilet now. We were supposed to be the one, quote unquote, that led in the morality of the planet, or we were the litmus for the morality of what a superpower is supposed to be. This has taken us completely left of field, and now the world hates us. Americans are hated now. Now, that is not an accident. That is not an accident. That is a contrived move, so that when the real move, how is it that during the time when Clinton was president, that we sold more weapons technology to the Chinese? And at the time when this guy, what was the name of the spy? Pollard, the guy that was caught, the Israeli spy, that was spying, that was in the United States government for 25 years. The Israelis were selling weapons technologies
To China?
to China. Why is it that the Vatican,
Oh, that's good 10 years ago.
yeah, why was it that the Vatican gave orders to the CFR and to the 300 of the Bilderberger and to all of the rest of the elitists to give Hong Kong back to China? Hong Kong is a monetary, is a commercial behemoth, and that's exactly what China needed to build its arsenal. China is building its arsenal. Huge arsenal is being built in China. Russia has been building up its arsenal. Do you know that North Korea is actually Islamic?
Right. Somebody else,
I said that.
you said that.
And that South Korea is Jewish?
Right. Jewish?
Yeah.
I thought they were Christian.
All the business over there is run by the Jews. All the business over in South Korea is run by Jews.
Not Christian.
Nope. If they are Christians,
What
they're
about
essentially...
Reverend Moon?
Reverend Moon, yeah. Well, Reverend Moon essentially is working for the same demise of this country.
Yeah.
Everybody on the planet is working for the demise of the United States because this planet wants to move forward as a collective body so that we will be accepted into the Galactic Confederation. But there are a few people, few entities here that want to subject the planet or subjugate the planet. After you've got all the money, you own all the money and money's mother, what else do you want? Except for the total subjugation of the planet and use for it in interplanetary escapades. And that's exactly where we're going next.
The planet?
Oh yeah. That's the next thing I'm telling you all about is the interplanetary diaspora that you got to get ready for.
What?
Oh yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah, y'all over here playing games down here on this planet.
Another planet?
Oh, please.
Well, they're already here
You know
anyway.
something, one day we're going to start speaking about what's
Aren't they
really
right
happening.
here? Aren't
They are amongst us.
They're right here.
They're amongst
Are
us.
you one of them?
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that
Go on,
later.
Doc.
We'll talk about it later.
Well,
See, when y'all start, see, we first got to go through first grade, second grade, third grade. When you all don't start looking, we don't start looking at who it is that we are giving over our freedoms to.
well, I've always thought that wasn't from here. I mean, I've always thought that.
Let's stick to the point.
No.
We have people out there that need to understand and understand what's going on today. And we can take them to the next level later. But essentially, what we have to do is to begin to organize. Do you know that there has been a mandate, an intergalactic mandate, that if 1/3 of the planet, no, 1/10 of the planet could show that it is spiritually ready to move forward in its whole development,
Right.
that we will get intervention from other planets to show. So 1/3 of the planet did show. Over 30 to 40 million, over 1.3 billion people came out
All right.
because they know what was going on was wrong.
So then,
So now the spiritual index of this planet is beginning to rise. Yes.
that we're going to be rescued.
Well, we're going to start seeing the visitations very soon.
Okay. Well, they've been here all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which part of this? Where do you fit in all this?
Where do I fit in?
Yeah,
I'm
to
just
figure out
trying to tell y'all. I'm just kind of waving the flag and
Well, tell
letting
me
everybody know, and I'm just over
tell
here.
me where I've been labeled worker for Christ now.
Well, the
I
Christ
believe in the
consciousness.
Kybalion.
All right.
What is this mental thing, or this image of?
Those were given to us.
universe?
Those were given to us by our ancestors,
Okay.
and they were
About the Kybalion.
the Kybalion, and they were pieces of information to help us to reinvest or to how do I say that? To reconnect to certain thought codes, certain intellectual energies that would help us to raise the value level of our cellular consciousness.
Okay.
The only way that you are going to now change the body is if the cellular structure, the cellular consciousness, begins to change the way it's been conditioned for the last 10 to 15,000 years.
Okay.
At this point, we are working on conditioned thinking, conditioned forms of consciousness.
Okay.
The conditioning now, we have reached the ceiling of that conditioning, and we are being blocked. We are super seniors in this classroom, and we have to graduate.
Okay.
We are being forced to move through the conditioned ceiling that we are presently operating in intellectually.
Okay.
We have to stop religious thought. Religions have to die. The idea about religion was to create boxes to put the human intellect and psyche into. The mind of man and the mind of woman, man, is such that as you develop, you change. Your outer structure changes to match that which you have become conscious of and as. We have stopped. 2,000 years, the whole universe, or at least our whole solar system, has moved forward in consciousness. And for 2,000 years, we've been stuck in Christianity. We've been stuck in Islam. We've been stuck in Buddhism. And these isms have kept us from spiritually developing. So now conditions are going to be created as such that there is going to be a mass change in consciousness in this planet where religions cannot matter if we're going to move forward. Okay. That's one. Right. Two, when you see over there in Baghdad, the people who are holding, Christians who are over there using themselves as human shields against the bombing. Even Cheney's daughter now, this is very quiet, I want you to think about this. Cheney's daughter is supposed to be either in Syria or one of the neighboring countries. She now is going with a group of people to become human shields in Baghdad. So Cheney left on a secret mission to try to convince his daughter not to be one of those human shields. So when people begin to think beyond the box.
How do you find these things out?
Don't worry about it. When people begin to think beyond the box, and we begin to know that religion has been the stop. I can't talk to you because you're Islam. You can't talk to me because you're Buddhist. We can't see to each other at the deepest of levels. I have a superficial command to be righteous to you, to love my neighbor.
Right.
But I cannot love you as a human, spiritual being if I think that your God is different from mine, and I'm over here trying to jockey for position and superiority with that. So what you have to do now is to come out of all those boxes. Christianity, Islam, all of that means nothing in the spiritual realms. Nothing. So now that we're beginning to see that in the exercise of true humanity, then the planet will begin to change its spiritual and consciousness index. And then just that change alone will create a whole other vibratory level, and we will be picked up on other levels, because the only way we're going to be picked up is if the consciousness of the planet changes.
All right, now from what you're saying, I as a Christian, now in Christianity they say the only way to God is through Jesus. All right, now I'm to take the principles that you just applied to and say that no, there's not one way to God, that we're all children of God, and that Jesus Christ is not the only way to God. All right?
All right.
That way I open myself up to everyone.
Right.
It's the idea of being Christ-like.
Okay.
And loving everybody, no matter what race they are or what religion they are.
That's it. Now, if we could take away the precept that a race exists, that's one.
Human.
Right.
It's one race.
Right. Then there is no religion, because the races were codified based upon their religious outlooks.
So there's one race, the human race.
Yes.
And until the human race learns to love one another,
then we'll all have 10,000 religions that keeps us separated from one another.
But if we learn to love each other as human beings,
then no religion will exist, and the spirit will have risen in all of us.
And then the aliens will come. And
not the aliens. No, not the aliens. They're not aliens. They're your forefathers and foremothers. They're your progenitors.
Your family.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Yeah.
I like that.
Family.
That's a, man.
Oh, yeah.
I always knew it was something like that.
It is. More than you know. But you see that there are factions out there that ain't got themselves together. Just like there are lower entities on this in this planet that like to fight and war and kill with one another.
You want to talk about?
Sure, we could do that.
Well,
there are entities, hang on, let me just say this. There are entities on other levels where we're getting ready to go that have the same kinds of agenda, and it's they that's working here dealing with the lower aspects of our consciousness.
Okay. All right. Now, this brings us to my favorite book, the Kybalion. And this is about, most of the Greeks or European history teach you about Hermes, the god of wisdom.
No, right? Hermes is the god of the written word. Hermes.
Hermes, the god that's what it says in here.
Actually, it's Jehudi.
Jehudi.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's who Hermes
now,
was.
I'll go over the basic principles are listed here. But the one I most focus on is, here's Hermetic philosophy. The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's profound in itself, right? In other words, it only comes to you. This information only comes to you when the spirit feels that you're ready. And that's exactly what you're saying. The words of wisdom only are closed to the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding.
Right. Now, when I understand who you are, and I understand, because understanding and overstanding, there is understanding.
Okay.
When that understanding becomes understanding, then we need no more philosophy, because philosophy is essentially based upon the observation of what good is.
Okay.
And the application of good, or the application of acts towards one another, becomes the philosophy. Because from that act of compassion, from that act of what is that? Benevolence.
Okay.
Those acts yield fruit.
Okay.
Okay? So we know, we just say, you will know a man by his
action.
Works.
Okay.
Okay? Actions.
Okay.
So those, if you are acting towards me in certain ways, I enlist by that act a certain way. So you will understand me.
Principle of correspondence?
Yeah. It's all of them are one.
All of these are one.
All of these are actually one.
Let me give you a list of the 7 Hermetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based. The principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principle of cause and effect, the principle of gender. The principle of mentalism, which we're really talking about here, all right? The all is mind. The universe is mental.
And every race on every planet within this construct of the galaxy knows that. Check this out. To say it for you, the greatest civilizations in the galaxies have no technology.
Have no technology. Have no technology.
Have no technology. The greater, when the races of planets begin to race through, we're going through a stage in our development.
We're only utilizing 10% of our brain power.
More than that. More than that. That's,
more than that?
Yeah, more than that.
We here?
Yeah, right now.
Using more than 10%?
Oh, yeah, more than that.
How much?
In fact, we're using both sides now of the brain.
Both sides of the brain?
Are in operation right now. That's a fallacy. Let me just say this to you.
Okay.
The greatest civilizations in existence do not have any tactile technology, because technology is an acquiescence to the fact that you are not in harmony with nature.
Okay.
What happens is, for instance, there are societies on different planets and in different dimensional that do not use the specific technology of flight the way we use it.
It's like
For example, for example, how would we take off in the shuttle? Give me, when you look at it in television, what is happening?
You get into a plane and you
Right.
accelerate to a point that the airlift rises. And
Right. Okay, what's actually happening in front of you when you're looking at it?
physics of it all.
Right. And what are you looking at?
A plane taking off from the ground.
Ah, right. So you're looking at a plane taking off from the ground. What is the plane doing? What do you see coming from the plane?
Well, you see the plane by the lift of, or the motor that's motivating, and
You see, like somebody said, fire. You see this huge amount of millions of gallons of fuel pumping
All right.
to try to lift this thing out of that. Now, that is a consciousness that still pervades today with people who have service to self-consciousness. That's what we call it. There's service to others and then service to self. Only the more aggressive races try to force their way through nature or upon nature. Whereas there are races who would understand that the planet has a magnetic field, and that by going into simpatico with the planet and oscillating, having the frequencies and the vibrations of your plane vibrate to the same level as the electromagnetic spectrum, you can match the spectrum, and just like two magnets that have come together would go apart from one another, the same thing will happen when you create the same oscillating frequency of the planet in your plane. The planet will lift you off. Instead of you burning fuel to force your way through the atmosphere to get where you're going.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand.
Okay.
You gotta take
The principle of anti-gravity is what they're dealing with.
All right. Okay.
The principle of anti-gravity essentially is to match the specific spectrum, the gravity spectrum, because you know gravity has a measurable spectrum.
Okay.
Gravity has a measurable spectrum, and the electromagnetic spectrum is part of that.
Okay.
When you match it, when you match the Earth's spectrum, the Earth itself, by the energy that is being generated by your ship, will push you off, virtually at speeds incalculable. But if you were to take fuel and try to burn fuel and force your way through the envelopes or the layers of atmosphere, the pressures, you are forcing your way into certain realms that the higher beings will not allow you, because the very mode by which you are trying to attempt to get to certain places will automatically trigger them and let them know the level that you have developed in your own consciousness. Because the higher races know that everything as far as technology is in you, and that everything being mined, you can lift your body off by just agreeing with the planet according to a specific energy, agreeing with the planet, having that agreement with the planet, and have the planet raise you off.
Wow.
Now, they know this. Now, but you see the beasthood, and I call them the beasthood, which is a priesthood. It's a beasthood. They know of some of these things.
Okay.
And they're using these technologies now over in Iraq. As a matter of fact, I was told that in Iraq they have these ships that hover. And in Afghanistan they use them. And they have pictures of these ships that are hovering, shooting these rays down into the caves. And the ship is just standing right there in midair. It's not flying, it's not doing anything. They already understand anti-gravity.
Okay.
So I know for a fact, and I've seen for a fact, that these ships exist. You could look up in the sky, and that's why they give us fog. Do you remember the time we had this huge fog over the city?
Okay.
Yeah, that's when they were up there. They were flying these stealths over there, and they could create fog. Whoa.
You know, I'm sorry that we're running out of time, but we're going to come back. I tell you, just go out at 2 minutes and let me hear some music. Then I know we've got, and then we'll close out. Tell them to run music at 2 minutes, and then we'll come back and do another half an hour with Professor.
Yeah, they call me that too.
Doctor.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, how would all this apply to Kybalion? About the universe being...
Okay, let me just say this. You know, the ancients gave us this as a way back. You know how you have a roadmap?
Okay.
This is a roadmap for consciousness.
Okay.
And in that roadmap, do we know by those acts, these are seven principles for 7 colors within a 7-band spectrum of consciousness.
Okay.
Just like the rainbow has 7 colors,
Okay.
your consciousness actually expresses itself in this band of consciousness.
Okay.
That's why I say to people that we are trapped by light code lockdown. Within white light, there are 7 colors. Those 7 colors become the jail cell, the bars to your jail cell, if you don't know how to use the white light as a collective consciousness to see into the glass darkly.
Sorry. Wow. I like the interplanetary stuff. We've got to talk more about that. I mean, that's,
Oh, we can talk about some interplanetary stuff if you
I
want.
really want to talk about
Okay.
that, because that's been a pet of mine for years now. Because I get flashes of ancient Egypt. And,
Ancient Kemet. Let's call it by its real name. Kem. Yeah.
I know I was there.
Mhm.
I really believe so.
Yes.
And it's been an experience. You're learning as I learn. So stay tuned, and we'll see more of Dr. Philip Valentine. Hope we've got some numbers up there for you today, folks. All right? Yeah. Are we still on? Can you still have the mics on? Still have the mics on? Okay. So where's that? What are you doing again? April 5th.
April 5th, in Brooklyn.
Right.
You can call the area codes 347-512-4952 and talk to Brother Shabazz.
Okay. Great. Thank you for coming, man.
Hey.
Always a pleasure, my brother.
Yeah, thank you.
We really get the information out.
Hopefully. You know, it reaches the right ears.
People watch this,
Okay.
especially when you're on. They said, when are you going to bring this guy back? Where'd you find him?
Give thanks. We dug him up by
Where'd
accident.
you get him, man? Oh, it's great. But all these ideas have been around for a long time, haven't they?
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're in
It's
there.
nothing new.
Yeah, they're embedded within us. They're in our collective consciousness. It's just that we've been asleep. We've been comatose more than asleep.